Hi everyone. So here is the next section of our drama lessons. So to start with, if you have not completed your storyboard yet, please hang on to this part of the task. If you have completed it, please feel free to skip forward a little bit. So you'll notice that within your assignment, I've put an updated version of the storyboard worksheet simply because the one that I used before, I've found that people can't edit it because it was a photo, it was a screenshot of something. So I have put an editable version of that now if you would like to use it, but you don't need to. So make sure you start with the top right hand box. So we're basing it on your information about your character from last lesson. So last lesson, you were asked to answer a series of questions about a certain character to help you form a flashback. And this is where we're going to start developing that next stage of it. So start on the right hand side with your provocation, pangs and penalty. So what you are doing is outlining the three main elements of your story. So you're creating a flashback on your character based on the information you created last lesson. So what happens to them? What have they gone through? What's something that they experienced before the scene that I created for you, the basic plot line where they were in the woods? So first bit then, your provocation. What is the cause of the action that would happen? So, for example, if I was using the character of the villain and I was creating a flashback of when they decided to become that villain, it might be that somebody did something horrible to them. So it might be that the hero did something unkind to them. So your provocation, what is the cause of the action that would happen, would be whatever you decide that horrible action to be, but the provocation would be the hero did X, Y, and Z to the villain. Okay? The next bit is the pangs. So how do the good and innocent people suffer? Okay? So we've seen our provocation. So in your first box, there'll be the hero does something horrible to the villain. Okay? That's then what's the villain's reaction to that? Does he do something horrible back to the hero? Does he do something to the hero's parents? Because remember, this is about the good and innocent people. Is he kidnapping somebody or she kidnapping somebody? Are they stealing something from somebody, for example? That would be your pangs. Next is the penalty. So how is the evil plan ruined and what is the consequence? Okay, so is the evil character sent to prison? Are they exiled from the village? Are they there's a many number of things that you could decide to do for them. Okay, so that's your top right hand side box. You're now going to look at the left hand side one. So remember, the instructions are on the left. You need to talk about your characters. So who do you need? What are their names and what kind of personalities do they have? Okay, so let's not just see hero, villain and damsel. Let's see, might use the henchman or the Zani character, and we're going to give them a name as well to give more wider context to the play. Make your play its world of its own. Next, what kind of personalities do they have? So write a little bit about them. You can use the table from last lesson to support you with this. Once you've done that, you then need to complete the boxes at the bottom. So one will be for your provocation, one will be for your pangs, and one will be for your penalty. So you're breaking your scene down into three parts visually. If you are doing this digitally, you can use images from the internet and paste them onto the document to represent what you're trying to show me. Or you can draw them out, take a picture of it and send them in. So first, you need to give each part of the scene a name. You could call it provocation, pangs and penalty, just to be clear, or you could give them a caption to begin with. Then you need to do your image in the box underneath to represent what you think will happen to the main action. And finally, you need to describe the scene underneath. So start with describing it. What's actually happening in the action? To go a level above, you're going to need to justify it. So you're going to say why that action needs to happen. And then finally, for that real top level, for those of you really trying to challenge yourself, which I hope you are, you need to analyse the work. So for each part of the scene, for what's happening, what does it make the audience understand, think, or feel about the characters and their situation? Okay. Next then, if you didn't get time last lesson, and again, keep skipping on if you've already done this, you need to do your PIN assessment. So completing the sentences on the left, and you've got the criteria there on the right hand side to help you. So what do you think the most impressive thing about your storyboard is? How could you improve it? What are you going to do in future to make sure that you implement those improvements? And what level would you give yourself? Okay, once that's done, you can hand it in, and we are starting on the next series of the lesson. So what is the purpose of the lesson? We are identifying and implementing elements of different performance styles and genres to ensure that we can develop effective and engaging characterization. Our Unifrog link is in there, and remember, that's all about considering the skills we use in our lesson and how they could transfer to a future career. So today we're thinking about developing scripts or ideas for performances. We are directing actors or on set location. We are using excellent organisation and planning skills, the ability to make decisions quickly, and leadership and motivational skills. In regards to getting the top levels possible, we need to make sure that at the very start, we show clear characterisation ideas and plot lines that suit the piece you are creating. Next, to get that next level up, you need to make sure that your work is confident and completely appropriate. For a level 3, your ideas need to be engaging and need to fit with the performance context. And for that highest level, you need to be able to explain the wider context of this style or genre confidently to others with justification of its relevance and impact with modern references. So, hopefully you've had some time to consider the social, moral, spiritual and cultural link to our lesson. So as we rehearse and refine our work, it's important to use the role of the director to guide you in your progression and take turns to do so. What are the most important features of a good leader? Take some time to answer that question, please. Next then, guys, and some of you might have done this as an extension task last lesson, we're going to think about understanding melodrama further. So, you'll notice there's a link there for you to click on for YouTube. I'd like you to watch this clip on melodrama and note down 6 pieces of information that you didn't know before you watched it. Next then, the industry. Why has the entertainment industry stood the strength of time? So why do you think throughout all this time in history, performing arts, art, music, drama, theatres, film, TV, why do you think that's still going? Why is it still in the world? Why is it still one of the top elements of our lives that we focus on? Next then, how do you think COVID will impact the performing arts industry? You might find it useful here to use the internet to research facts and interviews from people in the industry and reference their thoughts on this subject as well. Finally then for today guys, I'd like you to consider the time to script the dialogue for your flashback scene. So you've done a storyboard on it now, you should have a really solid idea of what your flashback scene will be. To the right hand side of the screen you'll notice that I have put an example of how a scene should be written down. Each character name should be in bold or underlined and their dialogue next to it. Remember that dialogue is what the characters actually say to each other. For the higher levels, you should be adding stage directions in italics. So highlight the word you want in italics and press Ctrl and I, or put them in a different colour if your device doesn't allow this. Stage directions should include instructions within the text of a play, indicating the movement, position or tone of an actor, or the sound effects and lighting. If you have any questions at all today about the work, guys, please make sure you are asking your teacher as you are working, and let us know if we can support you in any way. Thanks, guys.